Yeah, they keep embracing follow the science, and I just don't believe them when they say that, because I remember all the way back, and there's a New York Times article about this, and it's like COVID news of the day, so it's not an article specifically about this, but Cuomo and the New York state government was pledging allegiance to the data, and they had just released the latest data that showed the opposite of the theory of lockdowns, that people that were sheltering in place were more likely to contract and get sick COVID than essential workers, including like people in hospitals. So contrary to the entire theory, and all Cuomo said was, we didn't expect that. And then proceeded forth, this was last April, and then proceeded forth for like the last 8 months to do the same thing. And only a couple days before Biden became president, he said, we're destroying. He's like, who is this dude that just said, we're destroying our businesses, we can't sustain this any longer? It's like, we've been talking about this for a year, dude.
It's frustrating because you're already starting to see a switch. Not just Governor Cuomo. That was infuriating. I saw that too. But even in the media, all of a sudden you're seeing the headlines. Do lockdowns actually work? Is it time to open up our businesses? Or it's like the tone is already changing.
Yeah.
And listen, I've thought this whole time that every COVID death is serious. This is a very serious thing. But they've obviously taken a different approach, even just from day one of the Biden administration. It's not, as some people said, the media will forget about COVID as soon as Biden is sworn in. That's not quite true. They're still talking about it, but the tone changes. The emphasis shifts. The agenda that is allowed to be discussed shifts, because fundamentally they wanted Trump to lose. And so if it bleeds, it leads. Every emphasis was on the negative, the worst possible things. And now they want Biden to be successful. And as do I, but I still would say that they should be objective, and or at least strive for it, or pretend to be. And instead, unfortunately, we're already seeing some real media sycophancy for the Bidens, and, oh, look what they're wearing today, or, oh, it's so nice to have pro-democracy truth tellers in charge again. And then you click on the person and it's CNN reporter. And I'm like, excuse me, are you guys even pretending to be unbiased anymore?
No.
I would like it better if they just threw out the pretense, right? Really, because like I'm a journalist, but my articles are labeled opinion, right? I very much am open about the fact that I come at things with a perspective. What bothers me is not the lack of objectivity, but the pretense of it. And that's the problem with the media that I think is going to really trigger an enormous backlash after 4 years of resist media, which sometimes was warranted, often was not, or was exaggerated. Now we're going to have 4 years of them sucking up to the Bidens and just worshiping the sand that they stand on. That's really going to rub a lot of Americans the wrong way. And it's going to fuel more siloing of our medias to only conservative media and only liberal media, which is not a good trend. And then it's going to fuel backlash. So if you want a recipe for Trump 2024 to be successful, it is media sycophancy of the Bidens for the next 4 years.
Yeah.